All right, I guys doing today? We about to hop into the review of Hebrews chapter 12. First things first, make sure you like that video, man. A little exit full screen, scroll a bit, like it, and spin it back up. You feel me? And then he starts bringing up in Exodus, right? God was giving them the 10 Commandments, and he said in 3 days, right? Nobody comes to the mountain. Nobody comes to the mountain in these 3 days. Nobody comes to the mountain, walks near the mountain, starts climbing the mountain, or you're gonna die. Everything in the law says you're gonna die. If you break this stuff, right, you break the Sabbath, you're dead. Everything like that, right? So you are not coming to the mountain that may be touched, burned with fire unto blackness, darkness, and tempest, and the sound of a trumpet which didn't stop. That trumpet blast. Imagine hearing a trumpet that just didn't stop. Nobody's taking a breath. That trumpet's going. The voice of words which they heard, which when Israel heard, they asked that it shouldn't be spoken, right? People always talk, if God just revealed himself to me, I'd believe. Bro, the Israelites heard his voice and said, yo, please tell him to stop or else we're gonna die, right? Just hearing God, let alone seeing him, encountering his whole presence. They thought they were gonna die just from hearing his voice, because he spoke the 10 Commandments to him. He didn't, write them down like that, but at the time he spoke them to him, right? And they said, please stop, for they cannot endure which was commanded. If so, a beach touched a mountain, it should be stoned or thrust through with a dart. So terrible at the sight, Moses said, exceeding fear and quaking and shaking, right? And you were coming to the Mount Zion and to the city of the living God, heavenly Jerusalem, to an innumerable company of angels. And this is just the juxtaposition of what they had, right? They couldn't even hear the voice, yet we are coming so close unto God. Everything in their law said is death. We compare that and say, we're going to live through Jesus' sacrifice. So I was actually recording for well over an hour, which I thought I'd be able to record and edit this in. So you see me in the change of clothes. I had to go meet with my boss. We have an event that we're hosting soon. Anyway, so to wrap this up, we come into Mount Zion, and he said this paints the picture of how harsh the Old Testament is, right? The old covenant, that everything was punishable by death. You couldn't draw near. And now under grace, we get all these wonderful blessings, right? And he talks about Paul in Romans, how he says, through the law is the nature of sin, right? So the old covenant is useful. And then in Galatians here, 3:24, you can see, so the law was put in charge to lead us to Christ, right? That's the purpose of the law. Allows us to know sin and know that we can't keep up with it, right? So lead us to this place where we need a salvation. So we don't come unto Mount Sinai where everything must be put to death for coming towards it, but we come to Mount Zion. That's where the switch was, right? We come to Mount Zion, the city of the living God, heavenly Jerusalem, to an innumerable company of angels, to the general assembly of the church of the firstborn, right? We are the firstborn comes with these certain things, these blessings in Old Testament, well, in Hebrew culture, whatever, Israelite culture, we are all made the firstborn through the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, right? We are written in heaven, so that God, the judge of all the spirits of men, we are made perfect through Jesus Christ. And to Jesus Christ we come, to the mediator of the new covenant, to the blood sprinkling that speaks of better things than that of Abel. And basically that means that, right, let's talk about the blood of Abel's sacrifice, how it was acceptable. But now it's not only acceptance, there's forgiveness for sins with the blood of Jesus, right? And see that we don't refuse him that speaks. For if anything escape those who, for if they escape not, who refuse that to speak on earth, how much more shall we not escape if we turn away from him that speaks from heaven, right? Whose voice then shook the earth, but he's promised, saying, yet once more I shake not the earth, but also heaven, right? And Jesus was the one that spoke, right? If we refuse him, if we refuse his sacrifice, if we try to add stuff on that salvation, we will not be saved. That's not how that works. And he talks about the shaking, right? The voice shook the earth, but he promised, saying, once more I'll shake not only the earth, but also heaven, right? All these old things may pass away. How many times have you heard that? Right? I got a song in my head that uses those exact lyrics, right? That the dude, I don't remember who made the song, right? But all the old things must pass away. Oh, JT Suave.
No longer a slave to sin.
No slave to sin.
All the old things must pass away.
All the old things must pass away.
Only way to maintain it is to feed my soul like every day.
He's gonna shake the earth and make the old things pass away, right? This body that's corrupted in sin is gonna pass away, but we've been made a new creation in Jesus Christ, and with that, we won't be shaken away. This body may be shaken away, but our spirit will still, our soul, which has been saved, will still remain, right? It's just going to shake away the sinful flesh that we have, but our soul, which has been purified, will not be shaken away. So wherefore we get a kingdom that cannot be shaken, right? This earth got shaken just off the pandemic he was talking about. They got shaken off the pandemic. God's kingdom can't be shaken. How much greater is that going to be, right? How much greater is that kingdom going to be? Well, we can't even experience pain, fear, tiredness, any of that, right? No bad feelings. It can't be shaken. So let us have grace by which we can serve God acceptably with reverence and fear, for God is a consuming fire, right? God's presence. You come into God's presence wrong, what happens? You get put to death, right? Them Israelites were told, you come into the holiest of holies into God's presence without that, if you're not the high priest, you're dead. If the high priest ain't coming with blood, he dead, right? All that type of stuff. You come into God's presence, that's gonna shake this stuff up. That's gonna shake this stuff up. And back to this thing about shaking, right? We saw that when he was talking about discipline and all that, what did we say? That the testing of it brings unwaveringness. What does it mean to be wavering? You're not moving. Wavering is nervousness or getting shaken. You could say unshakenness. So the testing of our faith breeds unshakableness. We won't be shaken when this stuff comes to pass. God is a consuming fire. Everything that comes into his presence that's not acceptable will be done away with. It'll get shaken. It'll be out. And he said, God is a consuming fire. So will he accept your sacrifice, right? Our sacrifice isn't what we bring to him anymore. Our sacrifice is us. He wants us, that relationship with us. He wants us to give ourselves as a sacrifice to him for his will. Will your sacrifice be offered? Will he accept you? Will you give yourself as a sacrifice to God? Think about that. All right, that's going to be the end of the chapter. Hope you guys have yourselves fantastic rest of your day. Peace.